All right, well, let's go over a few of the details on this car. One of the things I had discussed earlier about how some of the parts that we have to hand make, example is these door ends here in the front and in the rear, weren't available. They were missing from the vehicle, and all we had was a photograph of what they were suggested to look like. So we made our conscious effort to make these pieces look as close to original Porsche as we could. Also, as much as even figuring out which screw had to go in there, whether it was a Phillips or a flathead, which we're still not certain about, but we will address it if it has to be changed. All the leather work, top and carpet, it was done here in Tempe locally by Chris Hawkins at VIP Interiors. They changed the color of the carpet to red. Originally it'd be a tan, that they wanted to kind of personalize it a little bit. But we went ahead and restored everything in there. Everything has been repolished, re-chromed. All the handles are correct for the year. Had to find those and have been treated and restored. They crack a lot. They have what's called crazing. We cleaned those up and refinished them. The seats, everything as far as that goes is, let's get that up there. It's original to the car, but have been recovered and re-chromed where needed. Everything you see on the dash will be correct for the year of 1957 for this vehicle. Radio would have been a dealer option installed, but is correct to the era of the car and does work. Every detail on the entire car works, has been restored, works correctly as far as lighting, wiring, functioning, the shifter heaters, everything, bright switch. I actually got the windshield wipers working on this one, where it's actually a kind of a foot pump. You pump it and it has, you pump air into the system and it squirts water. I even got that to work somehow. Around the back of the car, you can see the detail work as far as the lines are correct all around the vehicle, that 3.5 millimeter. Correct badging. Personalized plate by the owner. Pretty lucky to get that plate here in Arizona, I think. All the details as far as the taillights are all correct for the car. Some people might not know that in 57 they went to the later taillight with the earlier dash. It's kind of a unique era of a car, kind of a mid-year change. It does have the aftermarket Limmers chromies for it, but they are all date stamped 57, so they were correct for the car and the era of the car. I actually believe they came on this car when it was purchased new, or somebody did have to find the correct ones. Every detail is done correctly. All the jams. These were actually completely replaced. They were rusty. We came into the quarter panel here, replaced this whole section. The inside of the rockers here were solid. The outside rockers were solid, but the longitudinals underneath were rusty, and we replaced those, as well as the rear floor. Front floor was rust-free. We did nothing to that. Steering wheel's been restored, is correct for the car. Banjo wheel. Gauges were restored at Hollywood Speedometer in California. They did an excellent job. Concourse restoration, all the way down to the detail of the right colors of paint on the back screws to show there's been no tampering. Reset at 0. We're at 40 miles right now since new. Customer needs to put some more miles on this thing. Shifter, it's a flat silver, which is correct for the car. Everything else is an ivory. Originally this car came with gray knobs, but the customer opted to have everything in ivory, which is does personally look better with the red and the silver. Correct badges, serial number, color code to the car. This car also had 100% correct matching number parts. The hood, the doors, and the deck lid and also these panels here are all actually numbered to the car, last 3 digits, and they are all correct to this car. Original sheet metal that came on the vehicle, never been changed out. We did have a little bit of issue with this door here, but we were able to iron it out and save it. So it will be on the car for the rest of its life. Inside rockers had a little bit of rust spots, but we went ahead and replaced those and did the correct type of undercoating underneath. A catalyzed 2-component undercoating seal that actually has some orange peel and texture to it. He went with a Vredestein tire. Would originally had a Michelin XZX, but they are no longer available even through Coker Tire. So we opted for a Vredestein, which is a tire made in Belgium, and the customer is from Belgium. I spent 6 months of the year in Belgium, 6 months of the year here in Arizona. So he was really excited to see that it has a Vredestein tires on it. We move over to the front here. It actually has American headlights in it. Originally would have had European headlights, but the customer is excited that he's in America, his car's in America, he should have American spec headlights. Inside we have a correctly done trunk. He has his boot in there for his top with correct spare, also limbers, toolkit, restored jack. The gas tank was actually beat up pretty good, but we straightened every inch of it, powder coated the outside and inside of it, and then body worked it and painted it to a flat black so that it's very durable and the gas does not eat at it. Inside also has all the original tar boards put back in it through NLA Limited. It's correct as possible to original. All the seals and rubber mats are all through NLA Limited, also correct as possible to original. The car actually has the tar board under every inch of it, under the carpeting, above the transmission, and the engine bay, which you'll see in a minute. And it is all correct to the way the car would have come. Very time consuming to put the tar boards in, but the customer wanted it correct. Also beyond the tar boards, underneath everything, is the original undercoating that would have went everywhere. So even under every detail, everywhere that it is hidden by certain things, it's still done correctly to factory specs. Although surfaces as here, a little nicer than when it comes from original. Customer opted to have it look really nice under the trunk area and such. Also, a lot of the hardware would have come color matched and painted from the factory, but he opted to have them all zinc plated. Also here, all the suspension components, everything has a white zinc plating on it, where it would have not been like that originally, but he opted to want it to look a little nicer, a little cleaner. This is some of the example of some of the names I was explaining earlier, that it has all the correct names on the hardware. Every bolt you see on this car is the correct size, 14 millimeters, say here 14 millimeters by 8x125 thread, correct for the car, with the correct name on it. There's Caro on this one. There's some other ones. There's Dorns, there's Nipping, there's Roche. There are several different brands of hardware that Porsche used, and these hardwares have been used on the whole car. You won't find an Ace Hardware bolt on this car. Everyone is correct Porsche, found the right lengths, sizes, sandblasted, white zinced, completely restored, brand new. All the horns, everything underneath are all correct. The correct horns for the year, tilted at the correct angle, the right badging, the right screws, all that had to be correct for the car. They actually have different tones, light to left, and there are the correct tones and they're on the correct side. And believe it or not, that is 2 different tones, and the purist will know if it's on the wrong side. They are all restored and working correctly.